Today's video is completely unrelated to beauty or my beauty channel, but I thought that this was going to be interesting enough because I find that a lot of people watch NCLEX-RN preparation videos. If you don't know, if you haven't been following my channel, since I was in the Philippines, I am a BSN graduate and I'm a registered nurse in the Philippines and a registered nurse here in the United States. So this video is specifically for foreign graduates, especially Filipinos who are in the Philippines or here in the US and are planning to take the NCLEX-RN exam to be able to practice as a nurse here in the States. So I'm just going to quickly cover the transition from the Philippines to the US. Most of them nowadays require you to be a registered nurse in the country that you graduated from. It's completely different preparing for the local licensure exam compared to studying for the NCLEX-RN exam because they're two completely different tests. You have to start from scratch. From the Philippines, I would highly recommend that you go for an internationally known review center rather than just the local ones. I'm not bashing the local review centers, or I'm not saying they're not good or whatever. From my experience from the local review center that I went to before I got here, it was very vague. There was no structure. It didn't even dive into what the NCLEX was about, how the questions are going to be asked, how the NCLEX test structure is. When you're applying for the board, it's going to be quite expensive if you're in the Philippines because you have to go through FedEx plus the fees plus like all these things are so far away from you than if you're in the US. It's just going to be USB Ask Me easy. You can just even email them or whatever. You can still email them if you're in the Philippines, but you know what I mean. What state did I apply to? I applied to Vermont, and the main reason is because they do not require TOEFL, IELTS, or CGFNS testing. They do require you to go through credentialing through CGFNS and another private, like third agency or whatever. So that's what I did. Fortunately enough, my school, I graduated from Cebu Doctors University. Our curriculum for nursing is internationally accredited, and all the subjects covered when I was in school is pretty much the same as the subjects being provided here in the States. And also everything was taught in English, and I took English from first year of college to the fourth year. So there was no problems. I paid $300 something for the credentialing, which is expensive. This whole entire thing is expensive, to be honest. But it's an investment to your future. After that, it was easy breezy. I just gave them proof that I'm a licensed nurse in the Philippines and all the other requirements that they needed, and I was approved, and I had a year to take the test. Keep in mind that this is different per state. Some states require you additional certification, additional schooling, and stuff like that. Books. So the books that I used were Saunders, Lippincott Q&A, and the Kaplan review book for 2013-2014, I think. So for the books, why are they important? I highly recommend Saunders because it's the best book in my opinion when it comes to basics. Like I said, if you haven't been in school in a while, or if you need to refresh your content, you have to read Saunders from the first page to the last page. The Lippincott Q&A book. I like it because it's in practice question form. So you're going to get used to answering practice questions or NCLEX type of questions, but at the same time you're reviewing content. The third book, which is the Kaplan review, it was just kind of, it wasn't like, it's not super important. It just gives you kind of the highlights of the NCLEX test, what goes on, why it goes like that, how to go about the tests and all that stuff. So it's not 100% important, but it's nice, kind of like an add-on to your review. Preparing for NCLEX-RN is kind of like going to school again, but the difference is you're going to school and everything's geared towards being able to pass the NCLEX-RN exam. Especially if you graduated years ago, or you have been working and you're about to take the test and you haven't been in school and your brain's not fresh, it's kind of rusty. It's really important to refresh on content because NCLEX-RN is very book-based. It's all a perfect world. If you don't know your content, you're gonna have a hard time answering the questions. It's not a must. It's not like a 500% must that you enroll in a review center, but it really helps. The main reason for me why I would say it really helps is because when you have no idea what NCLEX-RN is, it's really helpful to have someone explain everything to you down to the T. I enrolled at Kaplan Review. There are a lot of review centers that are US based. Keep in mind, if you're in the Philippines, they have a physical review center for Kaplan, which is amazing and which is I would highly recommend. But if you're in the States, most of the reviews, if not all, are online based because of the culture. I mean, you know, most students here are working, studying, and reviewing all at the same time. So it was really hard for me to look for a physical review center. It was all online, which isn't my cup of tea, but I had no choice. Going through the 3-month review of Kaplan, it was very expensive, but they give you an opportunity to pay 3 times and you have access to all their resources. So you're given a physical book for $30 more, but I just got the ebook, which is free. You have access to their QBank, their videos, and all their other resources on their website. This is all going to be based on your discipline and your self-motivation because nobody's going to wake you up in the morning and tell you, hey, it's time to review, it's time to take your practice questions. You are going to have to work on your own. Flashcards. So I'm the type of person who really likes to repeat everything for me to really kind of like memorize it or know it by heart or whatever. And also I learn faster if I write it down or if I read it out loud. Even when you're working, you can just easily kind of go through all these things. You don't have to flip through your books. And also when you're reviewing and you forget something, you can just easily flip through them. So I have the really important stuff like pharma stuff, like classifications and just the really important details about each classification. I have acid-base balance, normal lab values, fluids and electrolytes and all that good stuff. So it really helps if you kind of make these cue cards. To me, in my opinion, it really helped me. The next one is making a schedule like this. So this was based off of my 3-week crash review right before I took the test. I'm not saying that you should cram, but once you've prepared, it really helps to just kind of refresh everything. That way it gives you a boost of confidence when you take the test. This 3-week schedule covers 3 aspects, which is basic, like fundamental content, then nursing content basically, and then there's pharma content, and then practice questions. So there's no time. I don't put time because I want to motivate myself based on the content I cover. And I arrange them related as like they relate to each other. Like for example, fluids and electrolytes, acid-base balance, normal values, lab test conversions. These are all the basics. It's just a really great guide for when you're studying. On the last day, like the day before my actual test, I did not study, I didn't review. I just went out, relaxed, and this was something I learned when I was reviewing for my local board exams. On the last day before taking the test, we weren't studying, we were just eating, talking, and just relaxing, you know. That way you're fully prepared and well rested, and the night before you have to sleep early, hydrate, eat healthy. Moving on to the test itself, or on the day that you're taking the test, I suggest that you don't drink lots of water. You can drink lots of water the night before and then make sure you pee in the morning. That way you're not going to be taking a lot of breaks just to pee. Don't eat any dairy products. Don't eat a super heavy fried breakfast. Just kind of like a granola bar or maybe a toast or something light but fills your tummy. That way you're not going to be hungry. Because when you're taking the test, you're given 6 hours to complete it. And in that 6 hours, you don't want to waste time going to the bathroom and going back, because through that process, you're going to be like doing fingerprint checking and all that stuff. So it's not just going to be like, oh, 1 minute to go to the bathroom and then I'll be back. No, it's probably going to take 5 minutes. Next thing you know, it's already been 6 hours. You're going to have butterflies. You're probably going to start breathing heavily. Your heart's going to pump really fast. but try to just relax and tell yourself that you've prepared for this, you're confident, you have prayed that He will give you strength and focus to be able to answer the test. Just breathe in, breathe out, and just do that exact same thing once you're seated in front of the computer, and just keep telling yourself your name with a RN at the end. And also just keep telling yourself that even though this question is really difficult, I am going to try to answer this as best as I can. Don't think about all the other myths like, oh, you have to have just 75 questions for you to pass if you go beyond 75, or if you take 265 questions, you're going to fail. Don't think about that. All you need to think about is just answer each and every question as best as you can to the best of your knowledge based on what you've learned, and you should be fine. And that's it for my NCLEX review tip and tricks. I hope that this was helpful. I really wish you all the best. Also, I like to give a shout out to Simple Nursing. He's like this awesome dude on YouTube that gives you like beautiful videos on nursing content and NCLEX content, and it really helped me when I was reviewing, so I'll link him in the description box. Go ahead and check it out if you're reviewing, or if you just want something to kind of refresh your content, even if you're working already or whatever. Go ahead and check him out, and if you would like, you can always tell him that I sent you there. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that this was helpful again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!